You ready for
Yeah. All
Lord? Bro, you can't.
not surprised by that. All right, everyone, let's Chuck. I'll kind of do spy and stuff, and then you can take over for a bit, and then we'll do individual stuff. All right, everyone. So last week we came down on Friday, tested this fair value gap that has been a what I'll say is a problem in the past, obviously, right? Big sell that we've had some problems with. But as you can tell now, we've come down multiple times and it's starting to act as what? A support, right? So this level here, this 680 level is really starting to act as a heavy support. So um I would really like to see us get over 685 tomorrow would be great. And then a move past 689. My target I posted on Twitter today is 713. So if we get past 690, I'm looking for 713. I think it's pretty possible with all the events of the weekend. We'll obviously see how that's unfolded, but as of right now, that's looking pretty bullish. The chart is looking pretty bullish as well. An inverse head and shoulders here on the daily time frame. That's certainly held up. Would be a great break over 690 and a move to 713. So obviously, if we lose 680, then we're looking for 675. Below that, 670, just because it's a nice round number. The algorithms love that, but 666 will be the number I'll look for. That's the 114 fib. So, any questions about SPY? Gotta keep letting people in.
Hey yo,
Yes.
you wanna mention some of the macro events for this week too?
When I pass it to you, bro, you can do that if you want. I'm just talking technicals.
Okay.
Um,
Go upstairs.
All right, I'll go over a couple of my individuals here, y'all. Let's look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin looks fantastic. It was kind of the signal yesterday that the world was kind of looking at what happened over the weekend as bullish. Bitcoin had a huge candle yesterday. We finally broke through 91K. We've stayed above 91K. It would be great to get another close above that today. What I really want is 94, which is this golden pocket here. But this M into this W pattern is undefeated. I mean, looks to be playing out perfectly. So we need above 95,000 for me to get really, really excited. But Bitcoin looks good. We finally have closed over for multiple days this darn 707 fib that has just been tripping us up for weeks. So very nice, but still not out of the woods. As you can see, we got hit up here last time, right? It's 95K area, the golden pocket. So we need past the golden pocket here. Looking again to get past 95K, but Bitcoin looks good too. Um, okay, let's look at some individuals here that we'll pull over. Let's look at Grab, switch to the daily. I think everyone's in this. Again, finally, this daily W looks pretty nice, but where are we struggling, right? This 200-day moving average cluster. So the blue line is the 200-day simple moving average. The pink line is the 200 exponential moving average. We need through there. Okay. So 520, because I'm going to round up, we need to pass 520. Really, look at where we've been rejecting over and over again, right? This 236 fib. We need past 526. Okay. Past 526 on grab to really, really get bullish momentum forward. Somebody chatted in. Oh, it's just a thumbs up. Okay. Yeah, if you have questions, I guess you can just chat them in too, y'all. Um, okay. Let's go to let's look at Saidu next. This has been a nice one for the group so far. Well, up over 100%. My next target on this is pretty simple. We're looking at the sevens. Okay. On these little micro runners here, these extreme wicks become your targets pretty easy. Okay. I was saying to Chuck over the weekend, I think this bad boy could go to 10. But this one's been great so far. Pretty simple, 677, 7-ish. I would definitely sell more there, and then I'd be fully out at 10. Not saying it can't go further, but y'all know, right? I play these little ones a little more conservative, I guess is what I'll say, right? Like when we were in ABAT and Flux, played it a little bit more conservatively. I'll do the same thing here. The SPAC play that we're in, ALCY, we need past our huge wick. So this is for anybody that doesn't know. Um, this is a SPAC. So they're gonna what that means is to put it in layman's terms, they're gonna bring another company public. So like if you try to do any research into this company, you'll notice they have like 2 employees, no revenue, et cetera, because they're gonna bring another company public. It's a think of it as like a vehicle to bring another company public. So but they froze the float, which if you don't know what that means, don't worry. But it's very bullish. Basically, what's out there is what's out there. Damn, terrible pass. I'm looking for 20 plus on this bad boy. So we'll see where this opens tomorrow. And
What
this
is
one,
the company that they're bringing public? Do you
I
know?
have no idea. I won't be in it past this week. Truly no idea. I don't even
Okay.
know if they know. I think they may have selected it actually, but I have no idea. That's not
Okay.
at all what drew me to it. It was the locked up float that I was interested in, and the floor is 12, which means that this won't go lower than 12 now.
Okay.
Um, but I have no idea who they're. I like I told the Discord last week. I don't plan on being in this past this week. I don't want to be in it uh when they bring whatever company they're bringing forward public.
Okay.
Um,
Makes sense.
like no desire. Um, okay. Here is one that pops back up on my radar that's looking really, really good. So ticker symbol Kava. Everybody should know it. We've got bull flag into a bull flag, right? So,
The draw on the right side, right?
hey Tony, do you? Oh, you must have realized you were off mute. Tony, do you mind muting
Yeah, my
yourself, bro?
fault. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, you're good, bro. So bull flag into a bull flag, really, really bullish pattern here. But we need above 63. If we get above 63, I'm going to be targeting the 200-day moving average cluster here, which is 71 to 72. And above that, we'll go see our golden pocket in the 90. This is a really, really nice looking chart. Kind of bottomed without me even noticing. After I monitored Kava for most of the year, I didn't even notice that it bottomed really nice here at 48. And it's filled that earnings gap, came down again. Now, what was acting as a big sell is starting to act as buying support. I'm going to wait to see if we can get over 63. But if we can get into 63, I'm in again. I really like this for shares and leaps, a longer term play here for sure. But this chart's setting up really, really nice. Really, really, really nice. Took an NVO, which we're in, right? This W is setting up still. Nice little bull flag we have here actually on NVO as well, I might add. So we broke out of this longer term downtrend that we've been in for a while, right? Set up a nice inverse head and shoulders, popped up off that news. And then what do we have here, right? Friday was really nice. Friday was really nice for this bad boy, right? So now we need to break over the top of the flag here at 53. 55.40 becomes our next target, then 58. But this 200-day moving average cluster is my current short to midterm target, which is $60 to $62. But everybody knows I'm waiting for that golden pocket. I'm not selling until we're in the 70s. So I really like these. I really, really like this chart still. So okay, those were the specific stocks I wanted to talk about. I'll turn it to Chuck to talk about. I know he wants to talk about. I would do leaps on Kava. I know he wants to talk about some macro stuff, and then after he does the stocks that he wants to talk about as well, then we'll obviously take ticker requests and we can go back and forth on that. So go ahead, Chuck. I'll stop sharing and you can share. Chuck, you there? You're muted, by the way.
Oh, yeah, I was just saying great charts, and a lot of those are on my watch list as well. So definitely cool to see some different perspectives, and it's definitely on watch. Definitely NVO. I took
Yeah.
some profits on that prior to the weekend. It hit my initial first pop, I think it was like 53 off of that news. So just waiting for it to break, like you said on your chart to add some more back to, but definitely can see it 66 plus and 26 as well. So definitely like
Yeah.
that chart.
Should be a
I'm gonna
great
kick off.
week.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm just gonna kick off with just reminding some people about what's coming up. So everybody knows the last 2.5, 3 weeks really has been very low volume in the market. Most people have been out traveling for the holidays, et cetera, et cetera. This is actually the first full week, full 5 days uninterrupted, excuse me, from any type of holiday travel, things of that nature. So volume should be back to normal tomorrow, is what I'm expecting and should expect. But we do have some macro events this week. We have ISM manufacturing PMI tomorrow. We have ADP non-farm payrolls on Wednesday, as well as ISM services Wednesday, JOLTS job openings Wednesday, factory orders on Wednesday. jobless claims on Thursday, non-farm payrolls on Friday, unemployment rate on Friday, and consumer sentiment. So that's Michigan data on Friday as well. So most of the data that will more than likely move the market will be on Friday through the non-farm payrolls. And usually, as far as I know, these will be payrolls from December, unless they're clustering some of the backlog from the government shutdown. And then we also have pending government shutdown news again in 2 weeks, I think around the 20th, 21st, I think somewhere around there. So keep that in mind as you take some trades to begin the week. Also, 2 weeks from now starts earnings. We kick off with the big banks, so your JPMs, your Wells Fargo, cities, things of that nature. No earnings of significance this week. We have a couple, but nothing that will really move the market as far as what they report. CES does kick off tomorrow. A lot of my team is there, so I'm halfway jealous because I wanted to be there as well, but didn't get to go this year. Jensen kicks off CES tomorrow with the keynote. So be tuned in to NVIDIA, which is one of my top stocks to watch for 26. But I believe there's a full schedule. I think I posted on my channel as well if you kind of want to take a look just to see what companies are presenting. I think Lisa speaks as well from AMD. And usually they use CES to highlight a lot of their upcoming features and kind of get the market excited about their growth and AI potentials and new innovative technologies coming to the market. So those are some of the things to be aware of. Obviously, the elephant in the room is what happened over the weekend in Venezuela. I posted earlier that the futures for crude are red currently. So that will probably fluctuate on and off throughout the night as updates pour in from that event as well. But I'll kick off my chart here with what the majority of my positions in right now is with Netflix. And the reason why I'm in it and why I'm going long on it in this particular situation, I've posted several videos around it. So hopefully you guys know why I'm in it. But just an update on the chart for those who don't know. This is what I'm looking at currently. Let me just make sure you guys can see this. I'm not working on my monitor, so let me know if this comes up. Can you see my chart here? Yep, I think you can see it now. But yeah, so
We can see your chart, bro.
cool. Cool, cool, cool. So yeah, very simple. You see, I don't really have anything on my chart other than my EMAs right now. My EMAs, my RSIs, and my MACD. I'm sizing up a previous sell-off. So back when Netflix were reporting that huge miss in subscriptions, when they were still reporting earnings by subscription, is when you had this big sell-off here. This was also the 2022 bear market as well. And we have a very similar situation happening here based off of the stock split, the acquisition of Warner Brothers, and some other outside noise that's playing in the factor of the sell-off. So you see the measured move is almost identical to the 2022. So I'm looking for us worst case scenario to come down here to the 200 on my weekly chart, which is currently sitting at like round numbers. So we'll say 75. And it correlates really nice with my weekly RSI, which is almost down here to 30 as well. So very similar parallels to the previous sell-off. And for anyone who knows, I bought this dip as well in 2022. Maybe a little bit early in some of my positions, but that is why we buy time to be wrong up front. As long as we end up being right in the end, that's really all that matters. So, uh, Alec and I both have talked about having this year where we're tuning out a lot of the noise, a lot of the back and forth in the Discord that allows us or causes us sometimes to get off of positions because we called a lot of things last year that if we just would have sat in those positions longer, we pretty much would have been done off of like maybe 5 or 6 trades. So this year we're being more patient, more diligent. We've appointed some of our other graduates from the master class to be able to provide some of the more appetites for quicker trades. So Joey and Kurt, and then we have Cobain and a few others as well to give those who are really interested in the day trading and feed that the necessity as well. But Alec and I are really tuned in and honed in on some of these more longer term trades for those of us who have 9 to 5s and kids and things of that nature that we can't be actively day trading the market. But I do like that SPAC play, big SPAC. Believer, we played a whole bunch of SPACs back in like 2020, 2019. For anyone who remembers those days, SPACs would shoot, my previous company went public on a SPAC, and that was a they're doing horribly now, but I'm not with them anymore. But it was a nice play. Like you said, the floor on the SPAC is usually 10 to 11, and those shares are locked up. So I probably will be taking speculative plays like that when I kind of understand the picture. But for the longer run, Netflix is my long-term swing for 26. I have $100 calls for January, and I might put on some $90 calls as well, depending on price action this week. But Nvidia is probably my next one I like a lot. Will be interesting with the developments of the geopolitical. I'm going to be keeping my eye on any type of updates with Taiwan. Obviously, that would impact AI and chips. But right now, if you zoom out to the weekly, I'm liking the setup. Obviously, there's a potential head and shoulders here in the weekly as well, but we can invalidate that pretty quickly, and this can turn into a W pattern for a higher highs, as long as we keep this overall uptrend here on my chart. So, I like it. I will be queued in. I'll probably share the link tomorrow when Jensen starts to speak. Usually, these events are uh, followed by sell-offs because they usually hype it up too much, and then he doesn't say something that they want to say. And then it comes with a sell opportunity, right? So if that does happen and we fall below this wedge here, and say we come down into maybe the 160s, the lower 170s, I think that would be a really nice opportunity to put some skin in the game for NVIDIA, maybe 3 to 6 month swing. Because they will report usually after the majority of the Mag 7s. So they'll report like in February. So we'll get like Apple, Tesla, Amazon, Google, Microsoft. We'll get those towards the end of this month, beginning of February. And then NVIDIA usually reports last. So if any sales come from that, I would keep NVIDIA on watch for some 3 to 6 month calls, either at the money or maybe 200 caller would be a nice psychological price point as well. I posted a video yesterday about some of the oil plays that we should be focused on if you are playing oil based off of that news. And obviously I believe the biggest stock that has the gain is Chevron, as they have been doing business in Venezuela for over 100 years and have the most active locations there. So any type of, switch being turned on, if we do start to tap into those reserves, Chevron will be able to be priority first come on those. So from a pure stock play in chart, Chevron looks cool. I mean, it's been holding this 200 on the weekly now for months. And it's kind of been trading sideways in this wedge, or excuse me, in this channel pattern. So if this news does ignite or bring some investors into this stock, look for any type of break of this channel and possibility for it to go higher here. So don't overstay a welcome on oil trades, please, please, please. This should bring the price of oil under 50 a barrel long term if it stays without any type of escalations. So uh ride the wave and the momentum, and then when you see it starting to temper off and get out, as you can see, this has a history of riding waves and trading here. So but it could have a year. Oil has been in the bear market for about 12 to 16 months now. So that could be a nice Q1 trade to kind of break this out of this channel. Uh, but as you all know, I trade with hedges, the seesaw. For those who will be in the class this week, we'll learn more about that. So if you do come in heavy with some calls, just make sure you're hedging yourself with some puts as well. I talk about one or two more things. I'm gonna hand it back over to Alec here. What else? Oh yeah, so I think someone asked about HAL. in the group. So some of these things in the oil sector, so Venezuela is known for their heavy sour oil. So anyone who knows about consistency and grade of oil, the primary um reservoirs and locations in Houston are built and tailored towards being able to process their oils. So you have the infrastructure, stock plays that could come in handy, like SOB and HAL. And then MPC and VLO are also good stocks to take a look at. But HAL was, I think, requested in the Discord, so I'll kind of look at that quickly here. But the weekly is setting up pretty nice. We'll see what the overnight trading if it gaps up some. But it is at the top of range. Well, not really the top range, but coming in towards the top range of the weekly RSI. But it did break back above my 200 here. So if you're putting on just a quick fib from the top of this last recent breakout in 2023, down to the industry lows last year. This is Liberation Day, I believe, as well. So you see it's stopping right here at the 50% fib. So if the news for the weekend pops this over to 30, I would take this quick five, maybe $5 or $3 trade, load heavy, because you want to ride the momentum. So this would be one that you would load heavy, get your $2 to $3 move, and then take your profits and wait and see where price settles. I think SLB is actually a very similar situation. Yep. So you see they have very similar charts, almost identical charts. Wait, this is kind of weird. Yeah, very similar. So you can play SLB the same way HAL. These would be more so long-term plays. Because if we do actually go in and rebuild the infrastructure of Venezuela, then some of these companies could be awarded these contracts to do so. So keep those two on watch, MPC on watch. Obviously, Exxon is a fan favorite and probably will move in sympathy. Very solid chart here as well. Uptrend seems intact. But just be careful, guys. That's all I'm saying is like just be careful going all in. Don't overstay your welcome. You can always get back in on a pullback or a red day. But let's see. I think those were really the ones I wanted to talk about most. I have a list of 27 stocks that I'm currently watching, so obviously I'm not going to go through all those. But Nvidia, Tesla, GEV, LLY, AVGO, Amazon, Meta, Nike, OKLO, and Netflix are my top 10 to watch. PLTR is going to be nice too. I think based off of the over the weekend developments, it was pretty impressive that they were able to go in and be as swift as they were. And I'm sure you're going to see a whole bunch of people saying that is because they were using PLTR's technology. So uh keep this on your watch in the morning, especially at 8 o'clock. They like to gap it up overnight trading. So hopefully they'll come and stop this because right now it was in a current slide as everything was last week. But it's still holding the 200 pretty solidly here on my daily. So this could be a nice play that could create a W and pop it back over 180. So keep that on watch. But yep, that is what I'm looking at. And hope that hope that was helpful.
Hey Chuck, let's take some chart requests, brother. So
Yep.
go ahead, y'all, and send in your chats, y'all, of some charts y'all want us to do. Chuck and I can kind of go back and forth, and if it's one that one of us has been looking at, then or doing, then we'll take over, so on and so forth. Great job, by the way, dude. Great job.
Yes, sir. You as well, man. We gotta get back in the habit, baby. Class
No,
on
we
Wednesday.
got to. We got to. We
Yes.
have to. We have to. We got to get back. Okay, they want us. Okay, so
You go ahead.
path here. I'll take the screen for a minute, brother.
Yep.
Thanks for the info. Here, Chuck. How about you do TE? Go ahead and chart TE, and then I'll do path. And oh, there's a bunch coming in. Apple. So yeah, Chuck, do TE and Apple because Apple's your baby. And then somebody wanted a OKLO, which I know is on your radar, and then I'll do path and MSTR.
Okay. Can you still see my screen?
Yeah, we can see your screen, bro.
Okay, cool. TE was
Yeah,
there?
TE or Apple, whichever one you want to start with.
Okay, TE. Oh, this is cool. I've never tried this before. Uh, so I don't know too much about the history of this stock, but just going to base it purely off of what I'm seeing on the chart. Let me kind of go back out and see what it's done over time. All right, so this is a fairly new company, went public in 2020. And it looks like the most recent move has put it back to the monthly 200, which is interesting. So it's at the top end of my RSI and the 200. Would like to see it get over $8. Yeah. See if this news in the energy world can get it over $8. As it did on Friday, but it closed below $8, which makes sense now because that's where the monthly 200 was. Nice structure though. It's got a really falling wedge structure that's bullish. It's back tested that breakout and bounced and created nice strong candles here on the weekly. Yeah, I look anything over 8, you should see 10 fairly quick. If you want to throw on a fib on here, this was a penny stock recently because I don't know too much about the history of this company, but just purely based off of this chart that we're seeing here. Yeah, so the over 10 could take you to 12 if momentum and volume comes in. But yeah, I like it. I like it. Just be quick. I don't know
Looks
what the
nice.
float, but yeah, cool. Good chart. And Apple, right? Apple was on.
Yeah, Apple,
Apple.
bro, and then OKLO, which I know is on your list of like
Yeah.
favorite stocks for this year, actually. So I'll let you talk about that.
Yeah. Apple. So Apple, man, it kind of goes back to what I led off with. Apple was one that I should have just stayed long in last year. I believe I had like $200 leaps at the time. This was like January of last year. So I had $200 20, what was that? It was 24, I think I bought that. Anyways, you get the point. It's been an uptrend ever since. We had some worries about, the failure of the launch of Series AI upgrade, but it didn't matter. I mean, it's just Apple, man. Just buy it. Every time Apple sells off, just buy it. It's in a nice little exhaustion here. You see it hit up 288, had a inverted candle that led to some selling, but it's still holding this upward trend, this 10 EMA. If you've noticed by now that whenever the market sells off, they keep Apple floated. And that's still because Apple is still one of the most, if not the most, still, I gotta check, heavily weighted stocks in the S&P. So the way they slow down selling on red days is to start buying Apple. So that's where you'll see NVIDIA red, Apple green, or SPY red, Apple green. It's just manipulations that they that they do in the market to kind of slow down the selling and keep people from panicking. So, but a back test, if anything, like 260, 255 would be nice area to put on some risk. If it fell through that, then I would short it all the way down to the to about 240-ish. You could see people around AI and stocks in general start to sell off into earnings this year versus go up because they're coming in at a very elevated elevate evaluation. So we need to see these earnings justify the new PE and make sure they're growing future projections into what we've already priced in the market. So that's why these interest rates and the decisions that come up about who the new Fed chair is later on this month will be very important to continue the momentum in AI. So, but I like it on a short term basis. It has a nice wedge going into it. It looks like the futures are green right now, so this should open green. But you see you have a nice rounding happening here on the MACD on the daily, and you're holding your 50 EMA on the daily throughout the last month. Shoot, throughout the last quarter, actually, since August, it's held this 50. So if I were to trading Apple, this would be a spot where I would put some risk. This would actually be a really good spot where I would play a seesaw because you see how many days these wicks have been accumulating between all of the EMAs. So it's in this tight formation. So it's going to make a breakout either to the downside or the upside very soon. And those are prime criteria for what are my seesaw spreads, where I would take more than likely I would take like right at the money, like a 260 put and probably a 275 call. And I would probably trade around that core. Um, Based off of market sentiment, I would probably go heavier on the call side. But if it lost this 50 on my daily, then I would probably switch quickly to put. So just be flexible with Apple. Apple can change on the dime in either direction, and spreads work really well at Apple because they're cheap. They're cheaper entry costs. So you can buy, say, March 20 would be the strike for this, and those shouldn't cost you that much. February 20th would be even okay too as well. Just at least a month and some change on time, unless you have the time to monitor weekly calls. I usually always go a month out minimum on my spreads. So, okay, LO is a fan favorite from last year. Big nuclear energy play, data center powering AI infrastructure, all that jazz. We were playing it back here. As you can see, I have some previous levels on that we broke out of this box and created a new all-time high. Goes back to what I started off with. Wish we would have stayed in these positions a little bit longer because they ended up ripping. But yeah, coming on the daily here on OKLO, a nice retest on Friday of the daily 200. So if we can gap up above this tomorrow, I would like to see this possibly all run all the way up to 85-ish, 90. If it can get over this 200 on the daily with some volume, like I said, hopefully all the volume comes in normal. And it's sitting right on my weekly 52, so actually I really like this. This is why I had it on my list. Um, but it's not my primary focus. I'm still primarily focused on Netflix. But if you wanted to play this, I like it. I like it a lot right here, honestly, right here, right? Because it's got some previous support zones here to your left, and it's holding some EMAs on a weekly green candle. So yeah, I like it here. Another really good candidate for a spread. But they've been buying OKLO. It's a fan favorite for the energy play. But yep, I like them. And I think that was it on
Nice,
the
bro. Yeah, I'll take over for a minute, and then y'all keep sending in your great job, Chuck. Keep sending in your requests. So Path was a big one here. So let's just do a summary of Path. We got in. Our biggest ad was down here at the 200 day. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, you couldn't ask for a better. I'm pretty sure even Chuck played this one with us. You couldn't ask for a better entry. And we ripped all the way to 20. Absolutely fantastic.
that was a
Love
great
this
trade.
company long term though. What'd you say,
Great.
Chuck? Sorry.
I said that was a great trade. Great
That
trade.
was yeah. Great trade. Um, and then from an investment standpoint, y'all, I keep telling you, I mean, Friday was a good ad. I said that. We came down, we double bottomed here. I absolutely could see a W forming here on the daily chart. Perfect XABCD pattern playing out here with a target of about 20, which in my opinion would just be a double top, which would then lead to this is the type of stuff y'all have to start to be able to predict, which would then lead to, in my opinion, this. If we don't come down and fill this gap, this is what will happen. If we don't fill this gap right now, just be prepared for this structure to take place. Okay, so I want you all to look at this, right? The same way Bitcoin went from an M into a W right now, well, you can go into a W into an M. Does everybody see this? So if we don't come down and fill this gap, because remember, the market just wants to be even, wants to find balance. So if we don't balance out this chart, which we haven't yet, you can see it highlighted by this little blue here that's still left. This is price action that has yet to be traded in, and it needs to be filled. It needs to be satisfied, is the best way to say it. Okay. So expect that if we start to trend back up tomorrow on path, I guarantee we'll see 19, maybe even 21. And then from there, this M will form and we will go and fill this gap. And if you aren't in shares yet, if you haven't bought shares, that would be your best entry. That would be your best entry on path. If you didn't get in when we were buying this would be your best entry. This 14, 15 area, this 14 to $15 area would be a great entry. Does that any questions on path? Hopefully, I think that was a pretty thorough explanation. I gave you both the
Yeah,
bullish and the bearish there.
that was great.
Okay, MSTR, look at this. We came all the way back down. So you see it going up, then down. Yep, I see it going up, then down, to put it very simply. Um, Look at this perfect retracement here. So from our 0 fib or our 1 fib here to our 0 fib here, we retraced what? All the way down to, if you haven't taken the class, you won't know why, but the 886 is a key level. We, in my opinion, if Bitcoin has truly found a bottom here, which what's Bitcoin doing? Nice, still above 91K. This would be a nice add on MSTR. I think I'm going to start adding shares. This would be a nice add here. So right at the 886, we're bouncing, but we need to stay above 152. If 152 is lost, we'll see $100. I'm just being honest. If 152 is lost, we're going to see $100. Okay, so you need to be careful. Those are your levels. 152 needs to hold. If 152 holds, this fair value gap at 178 becomes my short-term to mid-term target. If 152 is lost, $100 is where it's going to go. There's no support between here and $100. When you say shares, how much of your balance do you add? I don't even know what you mean by that. Did you already go over ZOM? Yeah, I believe Chuck went over ZOM. I can. Like how much of a percentage? Like for my path? I'm already pretty loaded in path, so I won't add a ton more there. Oh, MSTR? I have no idea, bro. We'll see. See how much I want to spend on it tomorrow. We'll see what price action does on MSTR. Sorry, I thought you were talking about path still, Johnny. I was totally confused by the question. No idea on MSTR. I added back in the 320s. Oh my gosh. Back when I was telling people it was going to go into the hundreds, you added in the 320s? Ugh. I remember people called me crazy. I said MSTR would lose $300. I remember that well because everybody was buying Misty. You guys got all caught up. Everybody got caught up in the MSTY fraud stock. No comment. Um, that's got to be near $0. What is that at? What is that stock paying per week in dividends? How is
Bro,
it
it
good for
might get
that? $30.
this,
Look at this thing crashing. Insane. Insane crash on MSTY. Um, I mean, Johnny, I don't know. It depends on if 152 holds, yeah, I would average down on your shares. That'd be a good place to average down. Nice lightsaber battle, Bo. I
hey,
got caught up with Misty bad. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
be careful.
Let me
They
just
have
tell y'all now, if you aren't constantly rotating those high yield funds, so by that I mean if you aren't constantly, so you make a bag in MSTY, you need to sell that bag and put it into the next high yield fund that like just came out. That's the high yield pack. That's a true high yield pack. If you want my honest opinion, is you constantly got to be finding new high yield funds, and then the minute you get a big payout, you take your money and run to the next one. Take your money and run to the next one. I already did ALCY, $20. That's your to put it simply, bro. We're going to 20. Get in. No, you can't play with my lightsaber. Not right now, bud. Buddy, I'm on a call right now. Not yet. Okay. So yeah, that's my opinion on on MSDR and MSTY. I don't see a viable comeback spot for MSTY, but for MSTR, I still think that's a great company. And I think this is a great spot to buy the dip. But you need to, Johnny, to answer your question because your share average is so high. Here, let me go back to MSTR before we move on. So your share average was in the 300s, which God bless you. I would unload a clip here, and then if we lose 150, I wouldn't unload your full clip. You want to wait to see if we get above 178. You need to be careful. You need to be careful uh because your average is so bad, just to be like as blunt as possible. So you need to be careful on your additions because pretty much any addition is gonna bring your average down pretty significantly because your average is so high. So don't unload the full clip because if 152 is lost, it's going to 100. And that's where you'd really want to unload the full clip if that happens. What other high yield ETFs do you like? None. I tried that game for a couple months. This is just me personally, unless you're constantly rotating in them, in and out into different ones, it's not a sustainable game. It's not. And that's not how I like to trade, especially dividend shit. I don't want to have to actively be managing my dividends. So just not, it's not my game. It's not my game. Yeah, look at exactly ULTY. Look at that one. Absolute buns. Buns. So it is what it is. But that's my honest opinion. Y'all know I'll always always keep it 100 with you guys. Unless you want to be constantly rotating in and out of stuff, which by the way, if you want to do, more power to you. Um, just not my thing. So I don't have any recommendations because I'm not in any anymore. So, okay, let me get through some of these other ones, y'all, and then we can take additional questions. So, Path, MSTR, did both of those. If anybody has any more questions on Path or MSTR, put them in the chat. I know somebody asked about TMC. Okay, TMC. Let's run a fib set here from, looks like the Rams are going to score again. Rams are going to be the 5th seed, which means most likely me and the wife are going to go to the Carolina game next week. Panthers, Rams. Very excited. Um, okay, so TMC here, you have a clear daily M. Bounce here at the 236 fib, which looks good. I would bet on about $8 on TMC. That would be my bet on TMC. $8. Over 8, you could see $9.04 for sure. If and then a stop loss on this trade would be $6.31 if you're long. Hopefully that answers your question, the brother or sister who asked about TMC, because you're touchdown, because you're just iPhone. So I have no idea if you're hell yeah, touchdown Rams, because you're I don't know what your name is. So to the iPhone that asked about TMC, if that covers it, please let me know in the chat. If not, we can come back. We're gonna go to GEV, also known as GE. Look at this monster, by the way. This is a nice chart. This is a nice chart. So ignore my sloppy drawing here. Let me turn my magnet off. But this is a nice chart. So this is a nice chart. You had this phantom move down here. I wonder what that was. And then you got right back into pattern. You look like you're breaking
Uh-oh.
out over this fair value gap. I like a move minimally back to the 700s. I mean, this looks really nice. This looks
Man,
really, really nice.
we
That's a
missed that,
nice
bro.
looking chart. What'd you say, Chuck? Sorry.
I hate that we missed this. Remember when we
I know,
tried?
bro.
I
I
don't
know.
know.
We were
Remember?
talking about it back here.
Oh my God, bro.
I
That and
know.
if you look at this chart and look at Lily's chart, it's almost identical, bro.
I know, bro. We missed both. And we were talking about being in both of them.
We were in. I was in both. I went in this one. I
I was
was
gonna
in.
say we weren't in this. We were in Lily, but
Yes.
we weren't in this. We were just talking about this.
Yeah.
You know what, the one that grinds my gears, and it's just because I don't short, but I was talking about shorting Netflix at the highs, and gosh, we would have made a bag off that, bro. But it is what it is. Anyways, whoever asked about GEV, this is a really nice looking, like a really nice looking chart. So congrats if you're in. Okay. 1 minute, y'all. I'm trying to find the chat again. Okay, so and then Spotify, another one. Chuck likes Spotify. Chuck will trade Spotify.
Yeah. I like
Here's
spot.
another one. Here is another one. This Head and Shoulders, bro. Look at this. We could have taken the whole year off.
Right.
Look at this. Look at that move, y'all. So I found that Head and Shoulders. Let's say I found it at 7-Eleven. I'll say that I found it all. That's almost at one point an almost $200 move down that we missed. I mean, just it is what it is, man. Yeah, I mean, if Spotify can get back over 600, maybe the Bulls can take back over. It looks like maybe a shoddy daily W here forming. But it's been weak. It's been weak. I don't see a lot of catalysts for Spotify personally. Right now, I mean, like the market was really nice Friday, and then you see this just fat sell candle. I don't know. Personally, I don't see a lot of bullishness on this chart. But if you can, like I said, if you can get over 600, then I would be interested from a bull's perspective. But I wouldn't touch this right now long. You could maybe do a short term swing up to 600 and then see what happens from there. Stay in if the price breaks over it strongly. But if it starts to reject with some force, I would get out. But to me, right now you're still just making lower highs, right? So until you go and make a new high on this daily chart, right? Does everybody see what I'm saying? You see what I mean when I say where you're making lower highs? Every time you go and make a high, it gets lower. So until you make a higher high, I wouldn't be that interested in being long the stock, which I'm not saying that you were. But normally when people ask, I've noticed in doing this for what, Chuck? Publicly, we've been trading for probably 8 years or something, not together, but on social media.
Yep.
Um,
Hmm.
so almost always if somebody asks about a stock, it's because they want to go long. So TC, I wouldn't personally be looking to long Spotify. I do love GEV though. Good for you. Good for you. Chuck, you went over Zom, right, bro?
I did.
Yeah, so we recorded this, so when the recording's posted, you can find Zom, brother.
Bro, look at Lily's chart right now.
Oh,
Nothing.
bro, I know. 1 minute, I'm going through the comments. ALCY we went through, but like I said, 20. T-Doc, I can do T-Doc. Let me just pull up Lily real quick since Chuck just asked. Yeah. I mean, if this gets here's the thing, it's interesting. So Lily's either gonna break off here, bro, or this is a mean M forming. This is a mean double top that could be forming right here. If you
Look
look at this, that could be
at
popping right there
the
down to the
week.
200. So either she breaks out and invalidates this pattern, or this could be a good short, bro. If she invalidates this pattern, that'll be interesting. She's been such a monster.
Mhm,
She's
mhm.
been such a monster. So, okay, let me just make sure I'm not missing anything. Silver and gold. Chuck, you went over those, right? I'll keep an eye on for y'all. Thank you, sir. Yeah, no problem. TC GovX. Yeah, I can do GovX. The 19-cent stock, bro. That's a pure fundamentals play and just hope and a pray. ONDS, yep, I'll do that a lot. Thank you. That helped a lot. No problem. SoFi and lemonade, sure. Absolutely love SoFi and lemonade, by the way, long term. Question in the masterclass, are we going to have a 2K challenge, like a separate channel? No, I don't know why you would have thought that. Guys,
I'm
the 2K
I'm gonna do one.
Chuck's publicly trading one. I did mine too, but just so everybody knows, it's funny. Everybody gets so like, when are you starting your next 2K challenge? When are you doing this? When are you doing that? I started that, but all my plays are still the same. Like I don't signal any differently, and if I reset one, my plays wouldn't be any different. I always get confused when people ask me to start another one. Like you, I'm not a copy trader, so I'm not going to say like, okay, buy 10 contracts here right now. That's not how I signal or how I teach because I don't think you'll ever learn that way. So whenever people ask me when I'm starting another 2K challenge, I always um not chuckle because that's the right word, but kind of just wonder why people are always asking that. Because if you've traded with me long enough, you know that's not how I roll. Just
Yeah.
follow like the stuff I'm in, guys. I signaled SIDU, SIDU. It was $2 when I signaled it, guys. It's $4.50 now. Like you could have bought that in $100 account. I signaled ALCY last week at I think my first signal was 13.90, but I bought some at 13.30 on Friday, and we're at $16 after hours. You could be buying that in $100 account. So I think too many people are frozen on the when's he going to start his next 2K account.
Right.
Never. If I reset an account, I do that for myself. I do that for myself and to prove to people that it's possible, but I'm never going to be like, okay, buy 10 contracts here of whatever it is. Because just so you know, every time I personally start a 2K account, I full port whatever I'm in till I get to about 25K. That's just how I run accounts, which I don't recommend people that are learning do. And so I'm sure I will start one again this year, but I'll be honest, I do that for selfish reasons because I like to challenge myself. It kind of recenters me. Like last year when I started that in April, I was telling Chuck, I had been trading so well, I was on like full tilt for the year and I needed to like empty my account because I was getting too crazy. I was getting too full of myself is probably the best way to say it if I'm being completely honest. And I knew I was going to do something stupid, so I drained my account down to 2K. And then turned it into a challenge for myself. But I don't like the people that are like, okay, I'm going to do a 2K account and then just follow exactly what I do. It's that old phrase of, you can teach someone to fish or whatever it is. I just don't think that that's long term successful for people. And it breeds a culture of, like the minute, again, we just trade differently. I made a video about this on TikTok today. We have different risk tolerances. And I don't say this to be mean, but think about somebody who's in the group, right? And they think that they're like, oh, okay, I'm going to do this $2,000 account and, for sure we're going to take it to 100K. And then they decide to full port, but they put their mortgage payment in that 2K account because they thought it was a for sure thing. And I'm not like, and Chuck's the same way. I'm not like other stock influencers. I don't pretend like I never lose and all these things. You should not be trading money that you aren't willing to go to zero. I said that in the video I made today. If you're in a trade, you have to be mentally already telling yourself this whole trade could go to zero. And if you're not mentally or financially prepared for that, you shouldn't be in the trade. right? Like whenever people ask about, well, what do you recommend for sizing? And I'm like, well, I don't know. What's your job? What's your income level? Are you a six-figure earner? Are you a millionaire? Are you on welfare? Are you struggling to pay rent? Because those are the questions that need to be answered to answer a true question on sizing, not like, oh, only put in 1% of your portfolio. That's a canned answer by people that are trying to scam people, in my opinion. That is a very deeply personal question that only you can answer. And I just realized I went on a rant there, but I think it's very important, and we're new in the new year, and I hope you all take that very seriously because I've seen a lot of people come and go in trading, and I think it's because a lot of people see only the screenshots on social media or the stuff that people want to share, and people get overconfident and think you can never lose. Um, you can lose, and you should prepare and act like you will lose every trade. That's a question you should ask yourself before you take any trade. If this trade goes to zero, am I okay with that? And if the answer is no, I couldn't. Hey, Ron, can you mute yourself, brother? Ron K, whoever you are, we can hear everything you're doing. Okay, I'm just gonna mute you. Sorry. And if the answer is no, like this is money for my groceries or this is money for my mortgage, then you shouldn't take that trade. And you have to be responsible enough to do that, right? Like this isn't you shouldn't treat this like a casino. So, what better time, Chuck, for me to go on my first rant than on January 4th of the new year?
No, it's
Um,
perfect time.
okay. T-Doc. I did trade chart T-Doc right before this. So really nice daily W setup. Actually perfectly from a Fibonacci perspective. You couldn't ask for anything. You always want the C point to be higher than the A point. We're on the 0 fib and the 114 fib here. The B point is right at our 38% fib, which again, if that means nothing to you, that's okay. You'll learn it in the class. 38% fib is a very, very key level, but we need above $8 just to call a spade a spade. Like I need us above $8 for me to regain any to feel bullish momentum has really stepped back in this, or 780, but the 766 to $8 level is key. So need above those, but the chart looks really nice. The chart looks really, really great, right? But if the chart played out truly 100% of the time every time, then every person in the world would be a millionaire already if they learned a chart. So it doesn't always play out. So we have to be prepared for that. But the chart looks fantastic. The chart looks really, really good. Tesla, I'll leave that one to Chuck because he's been crushing Tesla lately. So let me do SoFi and Lemonade. By the way, SoFi, this one, man, I'm telling you, this is gonna hit $40, I think, this year. I really, really do. Because of the economy is shaping up that I think SoFi is gonna have a really, really good year. So respecting this trend line here, which we love to see, we have a huge fair value, not huge, but on a stock like SoFi, it is pretty big. Fair value gap here from 27 to 29. So we need above 30. If we get above 30, my target becomes 35 to $36. So I like SoFi. A daily close below this trend line would invalidate that, and I would expect us to go visit the 200-day exponential moving average, which is $22. Let's do Lemonade, who just became my homeowner insurance provider, by the way. What a cool process. You should look if they are available in your or in your state. Anyways, Lemonade, it needs above 85. Needs above 85. What a monster day on Friday. One of my big winners from last year. Still have this gap looming down here at 63, but man, they've just been killing it. And their fundamentals are absolutely phenomenal. And the chart looks really good too. So it looks like we put in a nice bottom here. Chuck loves a candle like this. This candle that came in on Friday is Chuck's favorite. Absolutely big bullish engulfing candle. That came in, and I don't know, bud. That's the Millennium Falcon, and looks like we're gonna fly at least to 85. So yeah, I like Lemonade a lot. Thank you. That helped a lot. Yeah, no problem. Gap fill expectations on SoFi. I just gave it. I love surfing both sides of the waves. Oh, GovX. I already gave my opinion on that. Like I said, the fundamentals are nice. I like a pop. For fundamentals are nice for a 19-cent stock. Jumped on Saidu Monday morning at open. Thank you. Yeah, no problem, bro. Like I said, that went 100%. Yeah, the next one you do, I'm in there. You guys are funny. I'm trying to get started, but don't know exactly where to start. Go ahead and DM me, bro. Whoever that, I don't. You're on iPhone, so I don't know who you are. Okay, Chuck, go ahead and take the screen back over, brother. Let me stop sharing.
You got
Um, and you can do, like I said, Chuck's been crushing Tesla. So, Chuck, if you don't mind doing Tesla and Cost, which you've loved Cost and CoreWeave, you've loved CoreWeave. So, those would be great ones for you. So, go ahead.
cool. Yep, I will do that. And that was great, great presentation there. A lot of cool setups going into this year.
I know,
Tesla,
bro. There's a lot of good charts, man.
yeah, Tesla had their deliveries on Friday, and the consensus it came in below consensus. But if you look into the numbers a little bit more, they actually did fairly well considering all the headwinds that they had last year. Still came in over 400K, still did 1.6 million. But
Oh,
the real data in there is the fact that they're selling more of the Model Ys and Model 3s than any other cars in the world. BYD caught them on volume, but in my opinion, no one still has the technology that they have with the FSD. Um, Full disclosure, I'm a Tesla driver and owner, so I just took my car all the way to New York City and back, and we did it off of what, two or three charges. FSD about 90% of the time. It did well in the big cities in DC and New York City, so I believe this year will be the year that Tesla finally takes the leap into fully autonomous driving and rolls it out on a mass scale. As you can see, Elon was with Trump last night having dinner at the White House, so they're back on good terms, which is great because the whole bullish case scenario to begin with was that they will be able to bypass all the regulations to bring the autonomous um, fleet to market faster and kind of cut all the red tape that was preventing them to do so. And the way that they have it now is that literally you push a button and a million cars could be on the road tomorrow. So that is kind of what's keeping the stock over 400. That and the fact that he bought shares at 360, 370. So there's an Elon put back in the stock. They've approved his pay for incentive-based $1 trillion package. He has to hit like a million cars a year, et cetera, et cetera. And then later on this year, we have the actual robo taxis and Optimus coming to market as well for robotics. And Jensen's going to be a huge cheerleader of that tomorrow at CES. So I would definitely pay attention to what Jensen says about robotics being the next trillion-dollar company, and that will impact Tesla's stock as well. But from a chart perspective, we broke out of this what 2 year, a year and a half resistance here where we set a new all-time high. I think we came within a dollar of the 500, which is the psych level, but we came back below it Friday, sold off on that numbers, delivery numbers. As everything else is sold off, it kind of increased. And then some buying came in towards the end of the day. As you see, it went back up $4 after hours. But it's still in the uptrend here. We still have a very defined uptrend on the weekly. When I say uptrend, I mean there's higher highs and higher lows, and we're kind of sitting in this wedge pattern here. So my first price target for me to watch is to see if we break below my 20 EMA here, which is set at 420, ironically. If we can get some buying to step in between 420 and 440, I think it's very possible Tesla could see north of 500 beginning of this quarter. They do report earnings the last week of this month, and with delivery numbers already in, it's already a foregone conclusion that they're going to miss on probably both top and bottom. They might they might be on EPS, but they're going to miss on revenue just based off of deliveries numbers already. So once some of that uncertainty is out of the stock, usually buying steps back in and the stock goes higher. So I like Tesla as a very liquid stock. It moves fast. It's a great options play. I'm currently sitting in some March 20 $500 calls. I think we're going to see 500 in the first 6 months of this year. If not, we're going to see we're going to see sub 300. So it's going to be very very tailored to what Elon says and what he does and the goals and the deadlines. He can't push back any of this autonomous. I think he said April was when manufacturing is going to start on the mass production. So April would be a very key date. But yeah, as long as we keep this wedge, I think there's some really good, nice price movements within this range. So come down on the daily, you see it's holding this nice trend here. So if we come back down to like 420s, I definitely would buy it. Overshoot to 380, I would definitely buy it there. get back over 445 this week, I would look for a retest of 460. So those are the ranges and levels that I would play on Tesla. 420 to 460, and then look for north of 480. Costs. Was telling Alec last week, I believe, that we need to be looking at costs. I've charted costs for some time now, and was in it on this side of the trade, off and on this uptrend to 1,000. And the last few months now, since July, really, or shoot, since May, it's been in a very defined downtrend in this channel, and it keeps bouncing to the lower side of this. And we're coming into some previous resistance, excuse me, previous support, and trying to put some bottom in the stock. If it does, cost can move very fast. Wouldn't be surprised if cost is a stock split candidate this year. I think cost, Lilly, Meta are probably my top three stocks to watch for splits this year. So keep that on your radar. Especially going into an economy where some things might be uncertain. Companies like the stock split to keep their company stock from tanking during you know economic hard times. That's how they keep it anchored um and selling to a minimum. So costs, Meta, Lilly are stocks that I think could potentially split this year. But yeah, so if you come down below 800, I think that's an easy buy on cost. But people are really just trading in, right? So people have traded in shopping at cost to shopping at Walmart. So Walmart, usually when Walmart is green, cost is red and vice versa. But Walmart has been a very good alternative sympathy play for this retail space for groceries. And their improvements to their Walmart Plus has made Walmart a very attractive buy. And you can see this uptrend. Walmart has been a really good buy, a really good long-term um, stock owning position as well. So keep Walmart on watch in case you don't have enough capital to play costs because costs contracts are very expensive, but Walmart's are more manageable and they're doing really well from their earnings. Another one on that time frame, I'm not sure we talked about it, but it's Chipotle. CMG is in that same bucket of stocks that underperformed last year that could catch some momentum, and it's in a very defined uptrend as well. So we could see a breakout here to 42 if 35s hold. They've got some GLP-1 stock, I mean, excuse me, GLP-1 menu items now that are kind of trying to help provide a healthier lifestyle with high protein menus, which is interesting. It's back into this gap here that it missed from earnings. So keep CMG on watch, keep Nike on watch.
I like Chipotle a lot, bro.
Yeah,
Hey,
same.
Chuck, somebody just asked you to do Meta.
Yeah, Meta's a fan favorite. I love Meta. Meta is one of the ones, man, where, I was trying to tell people to buy this dip when we came down to 580. It's one of those things where you just kind of have to just hold your nose and buy, especially when you believe in the product. And at the time, I think the PE on Meta was like 20. So it was the lowest it had been in like over a decade. And then you had some people step in and buy the stock. But Meta, I believe Meta is an $800 stock. I think Meta is very underrated. They just made a really good acquisition as well to kind of compete with some of the Googles and AI infrastructure. I love the Meta glasses. I have three pairs of them. They just had an Oakley version come out, and then they have the new one coming out, the Meta 2.0s, where it has a haptic wristband and a display screen inside the glasses that helps you even improve your virtual reality, whatever you want to call it. But from a pure stock perspective, it's solid. It's rejected this daily 200. You see it's been trending here. It had a red day on Friday, so I'm looking to see where we open up at 8 o'clock overnight trading to see if we can pop back over this I hate this 666, but it's there on the daily 200. But if it's any type of selling pressure that comes in, would make sense because we came up and we filled this, we're right back at this resistance of this earnings gap. I think Meta should see north of 700. How soon? I don't know. We could be waiting for earnings. People might just want to see, okay, did they fix the problem? Because remember, the reason why they were selling off of earnings, even though they had a fantastic earnings, they shattered on both sides. But the sell-off came because the capex, the spend for AI was way higher than what the market expected. So they sold it off, right down to the 618 basically. And then we bounced back up to 38.2, and now we're having some resistance issues here. So as long as we can trend it between this 675 and 635 area, I would load. If we break to the downside of six of this 50 fib, then I would just sit back and on my hands and wait until earnings and see what they report. But I like Meta. Meta is my top three, I believe, Mag 7. And I have Nvidia, Tesla, and Meta is my top three. So definitely always a fan favorite for me. I believe in the product. And I mean, Zuck has done nothing but play this whole AI game the right way, in my opinion. But yeah, keep it on watch. Anything below 640 was short. Anything above 660, I would go long on Meta. But that is it. Yep, no problem. No problem. I think it's short alarm makers. What? Oh, how do y'all like Uber and with Tesla potentially?
Yeah, I saw that question. I didn't know if you wanted to touch on it, Chuck. I don't love Uber personally, but like from a pure investment standpoint, I think Lyft has more meat on the bones. Oh man, nobody told me Lyft went to 20. There's another one we should have stayed in, bro. Lyft. I got us in at 13. It went to 25. Wow, I did not know that.
Bruh,
One to get away.
I think Tesla's gonna do to the other autonomous driving companies what Netflix did to Blockbuster.
I think
I
Tesla will partner with one of them, and Lyft is just the one that, in my opinion, makes sense because they're so much smaller,
Yeah, and they could, or they just could
easy
buy
to
them.
buy. That's what I mean. That's what I meant. That's what I meant.
Yeah, they could just accumulate. I mean, because I mean, we both have Teslas, so we understand like how easy it is for us to push an app. Like it was crazy. Like the other day, I don't know why I hadn't been doing this sooner, but I had forgotten that I left both of the cars parked outside from the garage. So I just opened the garage with my MyQ app. I opened both Tesla apps and I pulled both cars in the garage without even leaving my bed. And I closed the garage. Like,
That is
bro,
nice.
bro, that's insane. Like you literally it's an adult remote control car, dog. And like those companies just don't have that technology. Now, if he wants to start licensing these things out, then I mean, look at what Ford did. They discontinued their Lightning, right? That was their big, and GM, they discontinued their, I forget what it was called, but BYD is the only company really messing with them, and they sell hybrids. They don't sell 100% EVs.
And those
So,
cars suck. I was over in
right,
Germany, and BYD is a product of Chinese
right.
propaganda because let me tell you, I convinced my boss when we were over in Germany, bro, because they have them. I'm like, oh, these aren't allowed in the US. Can we go look at them? And he was like, sure. Bro, it feels like getting in an RC, like a Hot Wheels car. It's so cheap. It's so bad. That is direct Chinese propaganda. It is not good.
That's crazy. That is crazy. Because like yeah, it's nuts. And like when I went to LA, went to the diner, they allow you to test drive like the Cybertruck and then like to utilize the app because you know the app is only allowed in certain regions right now. But literally the Robo Taxi app, I have it on my phone, but I can't use it because I'm not in the regions like Austin or whatnot. But it's literally Uber. It's if they started really partnering with like other entities they could really put a lot of people out of business, bro. Like quickly. It just depends on, will they get charged for like, antitrust and monopolies and whatever. But if he's still friends with Buddy, he could pass over a lot of that stuff. Um, I don't know. I like it. I think I am a Tesla bull. I think that the reason the stock is up is because people are finally understanding for one, it's a cult stock, yes, but for two, it's just the potential there with solar and this they had the most charging output ever this year. The energy side of stuff is popping off. Um, it's just a lot there. There's more than cars, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Um,
there's a lot there. And I've been telling you this since we met. The part of Tesla that always intrigued me more than the cars, more even than the rideshare, is the power side of the business. If they can really get that taken off,
is
would
that
be that's the one part of the business that's growing. By the way, for folks that don't know, that's steadily been growing for like 2 years now. Each quarter is their energy business. So yeah, it'll be very interesting for sure. But the yeah, I'm with Chuck on it. I'm just not a Uber and Lyft need to strike a deal with someone. Like if Waymo wants to try, they need to about get rid of about 60 parts because if you wanted to go install Waymo on your car, it would cost you another car. If
yeah,
Tesla simply
right.
sold their technology to these legacy automakers, it's about installing 50 cameras on your car that are not expensive at all, and it's all the AI in their software that's really doing the bulk of the heavy lifting. So,
Exactly.
yeah, I definitely think they're far ahead
Exactly.
personally.
Yeah,
So,
this year if they execute correctly, this year could be transformative. Like it could be the year that the growth comes back to Tesla. The last 2 or 3 years has been stagnant. I mean, even this past quarter, the delivery numbers are down year over year for the last 2 or 3
yeah,
years for the first time ever. This could be the year where that starts going back up over to the right, right? This if they stick and they don't have any pushbacks on like their go to market dates and they actually come out with what they said they're going to come out, um, could be a very good year, very good.
yeah, no, I agree. Bro, the Rams are officially playing the Lions. I'm trying to look up some tickets here. Or the Panthers, sorry. The Lions game just came on here.
Okay.
Anyways,
Nice.
y'all, any other questions tonight? By the way, I have to just share this. Everyone might remember about a month ago, I said PLTR, I think, is going to form the nastiest M you've ever seen. Just another one I didn't play. This looks bad, bro. I didn't realize how nasty this chart looked.
Yeah, but I talked about that
Low
earlier.
key, though, what happened over the weekend might save them.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, I think that's gonna change that quickly.
Yeah, like you saw why they trade at 300x earnings
Yeah.
over the weekend. So,
Yeah, because
yeah,
that's pretty wild what they were able to do.
no, that was wild.
That man was sitting there getting some cheeks, bro, and he just got put
Bro,
in the head.
that was wild. But literally, this is an ugly chart. But again, an event that big could change it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So
But
so
I just posted in the chat. Someone saw a fleet of the robo taxis out in the field today.
nice, very cool, very cool. I believe that. Yeah, no, I think this is the year, bro. I was saying to Asia, the more I've been getting, and I was saying to you too. I think I texted you, bro. I know I did actually. I've been getting more FSD updates than ever lately. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I've gotten three in the last like 3 weeks, which is just that's uncommon for anybody that doesn't own a Tesla. Um, and
Bro, why is
yeah,
Stafford in the fourth quarter?
because we had to run up his MVP, bro.
Oh my God.
It's looking like he's gonna get it again. The odds have swung back to him getting it.
I was like, wait, what? Why is he still in the game? That's
Yeah, they
funny.
had to run up. Man, I want to buy these tickets, but I also need to know the timing because if it's a Monday night game, I'm not going.
They'll probably put that on Saturday, bro. That's gonna be a
I would
blowout.
think so too, right? Like, there's no way that the Rams Panthers like that. Everybody knows the Rams will probably do work.
Yeah, that's gonna be a route. I mean, but they did beat y'all last time, but I don't
Yeah,
think
but come on,
they're,
bro. You know how that is, a regular season game. Come on, you're not a casual fan. Come on.
I don't think they're ready for prime time.
No. No. The Rams are zoned in. So
Bro, they said the streets are calling him Stat Padford.
let him. Let my boy. Let my boy.
That's
Pad
funny.
his stats. Oh, he's a Patriots fan. No wonder. Yeah.
You said that.
No, they definitely do Monday. They do Monday games for wild card weekend now because remember, there's only one team gets a bye. So
Which is stupid.
yeah, I agree.
Well,
So
I don't know. Maybe it's okay because it does force people to play longer in the season. 'Cause usually by like week 14 or 15, you were those two top teams were just coasting. Um, but I guess it makes it more competitive, I guess.
okay, this wild card game, I could get some pretty good tickets.
Yeah, you have to let me know if you come up because I'm gonna try to make it up there.
Yeah, that would be dope, bro. I always forget you don't live that far.
Nope. Nope.
All right, sir. All right, everyone. Any other questions tonight? Sorry, Chuck and I got off on our football tangent there, which is easy for us to do.
Yes, for sure.
We could talk all night about football. Did the Cowboys win today? See you Wednesday
No,
night. Yes, sir. See you Wednesday night, bro. Guap,
no,
what's your actual name, bro? So we know. Way to come to this Sunday session too. What's your actual name, brother? So we can call you out on Wednesday in a positive way. You probably left already. Oh,
yeah.
Mike B. Nice, Mike. Okay, Mike, we're calling you out. Good job, brother. You know, this means nothing to you now, but you earned some extra credit points, which you'll care about at the end of class. That's all I'm gonna say. You'll find out more on Wednesday. All right, everyone. Chuck, I'll text you, brother. Love you.
All right, bro.
Great session,
Yeah,
everyone. Hopefully, you all enjoyed it and learned something. We'll post the recording too. I'll do that right now. We'll post it on YouTube and then we'll post the YouTube link. See you, everyone. I'll text you, Chuck.
love that. All right, man. Take care.